Hello, Mr. Schultz coming to you live for the Unit 4 review. So without further ado, let's get to it. So in Unit 4, we looked at surface area and volume of prisms, cylinders, pyramids, cones, and spheres. We found all kinds of surface area and all kinds of volume. So let's get into the review. Like I've mentioned in class, the test won't have you find all three at once. It won't like give you a prism and say, find me the lateral area, total surface area, and volume on one problem. It could do it, but it would split it up over three different problems. What's more common is like what you're going to see on the review. I'm going to say, hey, here's a prism. Find the lateral surface area. Hey, here's a pyramid. Find the volume. And then just leave it at that. So let's look at number one. They ask us, what is the lateral area of the rectangular prism? Now, for lateral area of a prism, if you were to look on your formula chart, you would see that lateral area is equal to the perimeter times the height. So I need P and I need H. I don't have to get B. I can, but I don't have to. So let's talk about the base. This is a rectangular prism. So that means the base is a rectangle. In particular, the base is the rectangle that it's sitting on. Here's our base down here. That's a horrible attempt at highlighting. There's our base. So I need to get the perimeter of that base. Well, it's going to be 6 plus 4 plus 6 plus 4. That'll get you 20. And then I need the height of the prism. The height of the prism is 12. I have perimeter, I have height. Let's plug it in. So it's going to be 20 times 12. To get you 240 centimeters squared. Okay, number two, what's the total surface area? I guess I should underline each of these. This just says lateral area. This says total surface area of a cylinder in terms of pi. So total surface area of a cylinder. It's SA equals 2 pi RH plus 2 pi R squared. So all I need is radius and height. Let's look over here at the cylinder. I need radius. Well, they tell me the radius is 4 and the height is 12. So I can plug in at this point. It's going to be 2 pi times 4 times 12 plus 2 pi times 4 squared. Now, our question says to give it in terms of pi. Okay, so let's see. That means I need to type in everything as I'm erasing everything. Whoa. Hang on. I need to type in everything but the pi. And into my calculator. So I'll do 2 times 4 times 12 plus 2 times 4 squared. I don't put the pi in there. If I do that, that'll give me 128, and then I'll put my pi afterwards. Centimeters squared. I guess up here I should be a little bit more formal. Okay, there we go. There's our total surface area. Okay, on number 3, it wants the total surface area of the triangular prism. Well, we're dealing with a prism. So I'm going to just underline these. The total surface area for a prism is pH plus 2b. Okay, so a triangular prism. That means our base will be a triangle. So this is our base down here. Or you could say the base is the top one. Either one works. But the base needs to be a triangle. So since we're doing total surface area, I'm going to have to find everything. You know, I mean everything. P, B, and H. So let's do that. P, B, and H. For perimeter, I know it's going to be 5 and 12. This 13 up here on top, you can put it down here on the bottom too. So 5 plus 12 plus 13 gives you 30. Then I need the area of my base. The base again is a triangle, so it's going to be 1/2 base times height. It's going to be 1/2. The base is going to be 12 of the triangle. The base of the triangle is 12. The height of the base, the height of the triangle is 5. So 1/2 of 12 times 5 is 30. And then for the height of the prism, that's going to be 4. That's the only number we hadn't used yet. So the height of the prism is 4. Let's plug in. That's going to be 30 times 4 plus 2 times 30. Which gives us, let's see, 6, that's 180 centimeters squared. That's our total surface area. Okay, moving on. Number 3, or sorry, we just did 3. Number 4, as for the lateral area of the prism.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
The lateral area of the prism. Well, our formula for that is SA, LA equals PH. Now, what kind of prism is this? It doesn't tell us in the question, I see it's all rectangular faces. So this is a rectangular prism. That means the base is the rectangle it's sitting on. That's our base. So when it says perimeter of the base, we got a 9 over there, a 12 there. So I mean 9 plus 12 plus 9 plus 12. So you get us 42. And then we need the height of the prism. That's the only number we haven't used yet. That's the 10. So now we can plug in. We've got P, we've got H. It's going to be 42 times 10. Which gets you 420 feet squared. Okay, so then we're moving on to pyramids. They ask for the lateral area of a pyramid. Our formula for that would be LA equals 1/2 the perimeter of the base times your slant height. So the base of the pyramid is what it's sitting on. In other words, it's going to be this square right here. This is your base. Okay. So then let's see, I need that perimeter. Well, that side's going to be 5. That side's going to be 5. So 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 gives you 20. And then remember, the slant height is the one that goes down the side of it. So in this case, they actually give it to us. They tell us the slant height is 7. We kind of lucked out on that one. So now let's plug in. We're going to have 1/2 of 20 times 7, which gets us 70 centimeters squared. Okay, number 6. What is the total surface area of the regular square pyramid? Okay, so I want total surface area of a pyramid. That formula, SA, is going to be 1/2 PL plus B. One half PL plus B. So let's see. Our base, it tells me it's a square pyramid. So that means my base is going to be this square right here. Okay, let's find the perimeter of that square. B equals 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 gives you 20. I need my L. They give me that. That's 7. And I just noticed, I think this one that we're doing now is the same as the one we did earlier. It is. Huh. Anyways, let's find the area of the base. The base is a square, so I just have to do side squared, which is 5 squared, 25. I've got P, L, and B. I can plug in. So 1/2 of 20 times 7 plus 25. So you get me 95 centimeters squared. That's my total surface area. Okay, now we have a cone. They want us to find the total surface area of the cone, and they tell us to put it in terms of pi. So we do not put pi in the calculator. What's our formula for total surface area of a cone? It's going to be pi RL plus pi r squared. So it looks like we need the radius and we need the slant height. Well, the radius is 2. The slant height is the side, which they tell me is 4.5. Pi times 2 times 4.5 plus pi times 2 squared. Why am I writing this in red? 1 second. This shouldn't be in red. That should be in black. Okay, hang on. There we go. Okay, so we're doing this in terms of pi. Now don't put pi in the calculator. That should give me 13 pi inches squared. That's my total surface area. Okay. Keeping it moving. 8 asks us what the lateral surface area of a cone is in terms of pi. What's our formula for lateral area of a cone? It's going to be pi RL. Okay, so I need radius and I need slant height. Well, let's see here. Radius is 3. That part's clear. Slant height. The slant height would be 8 because this 8 is on the outside. Even though there's a dotted line here, the 8 is on the outside. There's not like an arrow pointing or anything like that. The 8's on the outside, so that means our slant height is 8. So this is going to be pi times 3 times 8. Gives you 24 pi. Looks like we're going to be in inches squared. Okay, number 9. What's the volume of the prism? So volume for prism is big B times H. So what kind of prism is this? It's a rectangular prism. So the base is what we're sitting on. If I find the area of my base, just base times height, so 6 times 4, which is 24. The height of my prism is 12. I have everything I need to plug in. So 24 times 12 will give me 288, and it looks like we're in centimeters cubed. Okay. Number 10, what's the volume of the cylinder in terms of pi? So I need the volume of a cylinder in terms of pi. Well, the formula they give me on the formula chart for volume is big B times H. But we talked about big B is really, since our base is a circle, it's really just pi r squared. So I can modify this to say it's going to be pi r squared times H. Okay, so what's our radius? The radius is 8. The height is 10. Now we can plug in pi times 8 squared times 10. See, 8 squared is 64, so that'd be 640. This would be 640 millimeters cubed. Oh, I'm forgetting my pi. Hang on. I would have gotten that wrong. 640 pi millimeters cubed. There we go. Don't forget your pi, like I just did. It won't be pretty. Okay, keeping it rolling. Number 11. What's the volume of the pyramid? Let's see, they want volume of a pyramid. Our formula for volume of a pyramid is V equals 1/3 area of the base times your height. Remember, on a pyramid, the base is whatever side is not a triangle, pretty much. If they're all triangles, then it's whatever side it's sitting on. For this one, we've got a rectangle here, so that rectangle is our base. Okay, so I need to find big B. Well, the big B is the area of this rectangle. 6 times 3 gives you 18. The height they give me of the pyramid, the height is 4. So I can plug in now. This is going to be 1/3 of 18 times 4. This one would be 24 meters cubed. That's our volume. Okay, number 12, what's the volume of the cone in terms of pi? On our formula chart for a cone, it tells us that the volume is 1/3 big B times H. But remember, big B is really just pi r squared because our circle, that's a circle for the base. So we can rewrite this as 1/3 pi r squared times height. What's our radius? The radius is 18. The height is 27. So I can plug in now. I can do 1/3 pi times 18 squared times 27. I mean, 2,916 pi millimeters cubed. Like, well, why'd you put the pi there? It says in terms of pi. That's why. So we did not put pi in the calculator. "13. What's the volume of a cube?" A cube? What does a cube look like? It's really a prism. To which our formula is big B times the height of the prism. So it's a rectangular prism. So that means the base would be the side it's sitting on. Okay, so let's get big B. That'd be S squared, which is 4 squared, or 16. The height of the cube is 4. So we can plug in now. It'll be 16 times 4. It's going to choose 64 centimeters cubed. Okay, next one. What is the total surface area of the prism? Let's see. It asks for total surface area of a prism. Our formula for that is pH plus 2b. So the prism, I see all rectangles. So that means my base is going to be what it's sitting on. There's my base. So I want the perimeter. Well, it's going to be 2 over there, 4 there. So 2 plus 4 plus 2 plus 4. That gives me 12. I want the area of the base. So 4 times 2 gives me 8. And then I need the height of the prism, which is the only number we haven't used yet, or 5. I have everything I need, so let's plug it in. P is 12. H is 5 plus 2 times 8. So we get a 76 centimeters. Why did I put a V there? That's not a V. Hang on. I'm tripping here. It's SA. 76 centimeters squared because it's the surface area. Okay. That's the end of page 2. Moving on to page 3. Now, 15 and 16 are dealing with the same picture. That's why they're kind of close together. 15 asks us, what's the surface area of a sphere? Remember, on a sphere, you can't have lateral surface area and total surface area. Surface area is surface area on a sphere. There's only one formula for it. It's going to be 4 pi r squared. So all I need is my radius. My radius is 8. So I can plug in now. 4 pi times 8 squared. And if I look at my directions, it says in terms of pi. So that's going to give us 256 pi feet squared. That's our surface area of this sphere. $16, we're going to be using the same sphere, but this time they want us to find the volume of the sphere in terms of pi. So the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay, I already said my radius is 8. So I'll write it over here. Radius is 8. Maybe I'll need to move, maybe I should move this to this problem. Okay, so I have everything I need. Let's plug it in. It's going to be 4/3 pi times 8 cubed. Now that gets us, it's going to be a fraction. It's going to be 2048 over 3 pi feet cubed. That's the answer I would like to see. Or if you take 2048 and put that over 3 and put that as a decimal, that would get you, let's see, 20 divided by 3 is 6, remainder 2, 82.867, 682.67, but let me double check. Yep, that's right. 682.67 pi feet cubed. Okay, now 17. They want us to find the volume of the hemisphere in terms of pi. A hemisphere is just half of a sphere. Okay, so what we can start off by doing is finding the volume of a whole sphere and then dividing that by 2. Or, if you remember the formula that I gave y'all in class, you say the volume is 2/3 pi r cubed. I gave that formula to y'all in class. You're like, well, wait a minute. How did you get the 2/3 instead of the 4/3 and all that? Well, think about it. 4/3 divided by 2. If I have 4/3 and I divide that in half, let's say it's 4 cookies, and I divide 4 cookies in half, how many cookies are left for each person? 2. This is 4/3. I divide that in half, that gets me 2/3. So that's how we got the 2/3. Yes, I know I need to divide this formula in half, but I'll just divide the 4/3 in half, and that does the same thing. So back to this particular problem. We need the radius, which is 7. So I'm good to plug in. It's going to be 2/3 pi times 7 cubed. Okay, so that's going to give me 686 over 3 pi inches cubed. That's our volume. Now, if you wanted to put that as a decimal, divide 686 by 3. So it's going to get us 228. 228.67 pi inches cubed. Let me double check that. Yep. Okay. There's that one. 18. What's the lateral area and volume of the composite figure in terms of pi? Okay, so I have to get the lateral area. And volume of the composite figure in terms of pi. So think of it this way. Where would this stand up at? Could it stand up on this curved side? No, it would just fall back down. So this is my base. So when I do lateral area, I'm going to need to do surface area of the hemisphere, at least the curved part of the hemisphere. And then I'm going to need to do the lateral area of the cylinder. So let's work on lateral area first. Okay, for a cylinder, lateral area is 2 pi r times h. Well, my radius, regardless of what shape, is 4. The height of the cylinder is 5. So this is going to be 2 pi times 4 times 5, which gets you 40 pi. And they say in terms of pi, so that's what we'll give it to them in. Okay, so there's that one. Now, that's for the cylinder. Now let's do the lateral area for the hemisphere. Really, lateral area for the hemisphere is just going to be the surface area of a half of a sphere. So 2 pi r squared. Like, but wait, I thought you said for a hemisphere during the notes one day, it was 3 pi r squared. Well, it is, but this circle right here is not going to be part of it this time. If I did just a normal hemisphere, then sure, but I'm not. I don't want this circle in it. So the lateral area is just 2 pi r squared, or half of a sphere. It's going to be 2 pi times, 2 pi times 4 squared. So 16, that's going to be 32 pi. And so now for the total, I want to add them together. 40 pi plus 32 pi gives you 72 pi feet squared. That's our lateral area. Now volume. For the cylinder, we said that volume was pi r squared times height. Well, that's going to be pi times 4 squared times 5, which gives you 16 times 5 is 80 pi. And then for a hemisphere, we already talked about the volume of a hemisphere. We said it's 2/3 pi r cubed. It's going to be 2/3 pi times 4 cubed, which as a fraction gives us 1/28/3 pi. So to get the total volume, you want to add them up. 80 pi plus 1/28/3 pi. You add those up and leave it as a fraction, you would get 368/3 pi feet cubed. Or if you turn that into a decimal, that would be 122.67 pi feet cubed. Let me just double check that. Yep, that's all right. They want us to find the total surface area and volume in terms of pi. Okay, so again, if I want total surface area, we've got to be careful here. Because if I find just the total surface area of this cylinder, that's going to include both circles. Yes, I want that bottom circle. That's right. I do not want this top circle. I don't want that one. So we have to be careful here. Why don't we do it this way for total surface area? Why don't we find the lateral area for a cone? That's the top. So LA for a cone. That's going to get us around the top. Then let's find LA for the cylinder. That's going to get us around the side. And then we'll do big B, or the area of the circle. Why don't we do that method? So for a cone, our lateral area is 1/2 PL. Okay, we're gonna have to use the Pythagorean. Wait a minute. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? 1/2. No. I just did a pyramid. Good grief. For a cone, our lateral area formula is, let me look at my sheet, pi RL. Pi RL. Well, I know, let's see, this 26 is our diameter. That's a diameter. So the radius would be 26 divided by 2, which is 13. So I know my radius. Radius is 13. So this distance right here is 13. I'm also going to mark it down here. I need slant height though, and I don't have anything to help me get slant height. Or it's not like given to me. It tells me the vertical height, the height of the cone is 12 centimeters. But it doesn't tell me the slant height of the cone. So I have to actually work a little bit to find that. And if you'll remember from the lesson, we did the Pythagorean Theorem to help us get there. So focus on this as your right triangle. You don't know L. So we can do 12 squared plus 13 squared equals L squared. Twelve squared is 144 plus 13 squared, which is 169, equals L squared. 144 plus 169 give us 313. And then let's take the square root of that. $17.69. That's our slant height. We've got L, we have R. Now let's plug in. So pi times 13 times 17.69. And give us 229.99 pi. So really, let's go on and say that this is going to be about 230 pi. This is approximately equal to 230 pi. Now, if you're watching the video, you're like, wait a minute. I see what you did there, but maybe I don't. Because if I do 13 times 17.69, I get 229.97. How did you get 229.99? That's because I used the whole number. Like when my calculator did the square root, it got 17.69180601, yada, yada, yada. When I multiply by 13 here, I used that whole 17.6918, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what got me to 29.99. So I just said, you know what, 230. Let's keep it simple. Okay. So now there's our lateral area for the cone. Now let's do the lateral area for the cylinder. We said that was 2 pi r times height. Well, the height of the cylinder is 10.5. So we have everything we need here. It's going to be 2 pi. Radius is 13. Height is 10.5. Should be 34. No, not 34. What am I doing? 273. I don't know where I got 34 from. 273 pi. And then, so that gets me, again, that gets me around the cone, around the cylinder, and now I need this bottom base down here, the area of a circle, which is just pi r squared. It's going to be pi times 13 squared, which is 169 pi. So the total surface area is equal to about 230 pi plus 273 pi plus 169 pi. So add those up. That gets you 672 pi centimeters squared. Whew. That one was a long one. Now let's do the volume. Okay, so let's see. I see two shapes here. first, let's get the volume for a cone. Then let's get the volume for a cylinder. Okay, so for a cone, volume is 1/3 big B times H, which you could really rewrite as 1/3 pi r squared times H. So if we plug in, because we know the radius and we know the height of the cone. So 1/3 pi, the radius is 13 squared, the height is 12. It's going to get you 676 pi for that one. So then let's do the volume of a cylinder. It's big B times H, which we can really rewrite as pi r squared times H. So again, pi times 13 squared times, this time we're going to do 10.5. That's the height of our cylinder. So 13 squared times 10.5. Let me do this. 1774.5. Pi. So for the volume in total, we have 676 pi plus 1774.5 pi. If you add those together, you get 2,450.5 pi centimeters cubed. Okay, so there is the review. These last two were doozies, but we got them. It just took a little bit of ingenuity, and we got it. So with that being said, remember, you are awesome, and you were created to do wonderful things. Always believe.